Hi students, welcome to my channel, English with Miss Pineapple. My name is Cristina, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the past simple. How do we use it? How to form questions, the negative, spelling rules in the past simple, everything that you need to know to use it correctly. I hope that you liked the video, and yes, let's get started. So why don't we start by talking about when do we use the past simple? I have here 4 situations where you would use the past simple. For example, in the first one would be with actions that started and finished at a specific time in the past. And it's usually used with time expressions. For example, I went to a restaurant last night. And last night is the time expression that is indicating that the action started and finished in the past. Another example would be, we watched a movie yesterday. Or we can also say, I graduated from university last month. We can also use the past simple to talk about habitual or repeated actions in the past. For example, Ben read a lot of books when he was younger. Or she worked at a grocery store 5 days a week. Or when I was little, I played soccer every day. So they're all repeated or habitual actions in the past. We can also use the past simple to express duration in the past. So things that happen over a period of time in the past. For example, I lived in Argentina for 3 years. Duration, 3 years. Or they talked on the phone for 2 hours. Another example would be Sarah studied English for 4 years. So it was over a period of time, but in the past. And finally, we can use the past simple to talk about a series of completed actions in the past. For example, Amy woke up, had breakfast, brushed her teeth, and went to work. Or she arrived at the airport at 6 o'clock, checked in, boarded the plane, and took off at 9 o'clock. Another example would be, he finished work, made dinner, took a shower, and went to sleep. Now let's move on to how to conjugate verbs in the past simple. First, let's take a look at regular verbs. Conjugating a regular verb in the past simple is relatively easy. We just add ed to the verb and we're done. If the verb ends in e, we add a d. But we'll look at some more spelling rules later on in the video. Let me give you an example. We can say, I asked a question, you asked a question, he, she, it asked a question, we asked a question, you asked a question, they asked a question. And as you can see, the verb in the past simple stays the same for each person. Unfortunately, irregular verbs are more complicated than regular verbs and just have to be memorized because their form is completely different. I have 3 common irregular verbs here. Why don't we start with the verb to be? So we would conjugate the verb to be in the past by saying I was, you were, he, she, it was, we were, you were, they were. Another irregular verb is to have, which we would say I had, you had, he, she, it had, we had, you had, they had. And finally, the verb to do. I did, you did, he, she, it did, we did, you did, they did. And there you have 3 common irregular verbs. Now let's move on to the negative form in the past simple. We form the negative of a sentence with the subject plus the auxiliary verb do in the past, which is did, plus not, plus the main verb in the infinitive form. And also remember that it is more common to use the contraction didn't instead of did not. Let me give you 2 examples. We can say, I didn't go for a walk yesterday, or she did not go for a walk yesterday. We can also say, we didn't eat breakfast this morning, or they did not eat breakfast this morning. You could say these sentences with any one of the pronouns. And notice also how we're only conjugating the auxiliary verb do in the past. The main verb stays the same in the infinitive form. Now let's move on to forming questions in the past simple. So to form a question, what you would need is the auxiliary verb do, which is did in the past, plus the subject, plus the main verb in the infinitive form. For example, did she go for a walk yesterday? Or did he eat breakfast this morning? We can answer these questions by saying, yes, she did, or in negative, no, he didn't. We can also form questions with the question word plus the auxiliary verb do, which we did in the past, plus the subject, plus the main verb in the infinitive form. For example, where did you go for a walk yesterday? Or what did they eat for breakfast this morning? And we can answer these questions by saying, she went for a walk around the park. Or they ate toast with butter and jam. Now for the final part of the video, let's move on to spelling rules in the past simple. So as we mentioned before, we just add ed for regular verbs. For example, walk, walked, jump, jumped. Verbs that already end in e, we add d to the verb. For example, like, liked, love, loved. Now, verbs that end in a vowel plus y, we add ed. For example, play, played, or enjoy, enjoyed. Now, verbs that end in a consonant plus y, we change the y to I, and then we add ed. For example, study, studied, marry, married. And finally, verbs ending in a single consonant plus the second last letter is a stressed vowel. We would double the last letter and then we would add ed. For example, stop, stopped, skip, skipped. And there you go. There you have the past simple, how to use it, how to conjugate it, how to use it in the negative and question form, and some spelling rules to help you out. I hope that you liked the video. Thank you for watching to the end. For all my new viewers, don't forget to subscribe. And also, please like the video and turn on notifications for future videos. Thank you, everybody. Have a nice day. Mwah!